What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're all doing well today. Today I'm really excited to be doing my review of the TwoSun TS255. The TS255 has a 3.4 inch 14C 28N blade steel. I don't even need to zoom in on that. You guys can see that really clearly. It has a 4.65 inch titanium frame lock handle with carbon fiber inserts. Really nice. This is a really nice looking knife. Overall length 8.27 inches. Yeah, it's a big boy. Look how much of that knife is sticking out the back and just how girthy it is. Weight coming in though at 4.37 ounces. So they did keep it in that feather lightweight realm. How about that? What I'd like to do is go ahead and bring out my comparison knives. Then we'll talk about comparable knives. I don't know that I have any that directly compare, but I'm going to try my best. And then we'll do final thoughts and impressions today. If you enjoy the video, leave a like for me. I really appreciate the support. You guys are so awesome. Think about subscribing. I'd love to have you join. Totally up to you. Turn on your notifications if you do, so you don't miss alerts whenever new content drops. Let me know in the comments too if there's any knives that you guys think I should check out based on what I've been reviewing and what I have in my rotation. You guys have really helped turn me on to some really cool knives. I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and start with, again, the comparison knives. I'm always happy to start out with this one here. It's still one of my favorite EDCs. That's the Spyderco Yojimbo 2. The Yojimbo 2 comes in with a 3.125 inch 20 CV coated blade steel. By the way, this is a DLT trading exclusive. It may not be available anymore by the time this video goes up. I'd be surprised. It has a 4.5 inch sand color G10 handle coming in at an overall length of 7.5 inches and weight 4 ounces. Really good EDC knife. This is the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. This has a 3.44 inch S45VN blade with 4.81 inch Flytanium contoured G10 handles. Overall length coming in at 8.25 inches and weighing in at a very lightweight 3.75 ounces. You can see these guys are really close. 8.25 versus 8.27. I mean, that is really close in the comparison. So you get an idea just how big this one is. Let me go ahead and bring out the crossbar lock knives that I have that I like to do for these comparisons. First up is going to be the Benchmade Bug Out. The Bug Out has a 3.24 inch S30V blade steel with the 4.22 inch Flytanium crossfade G10 handles and an overall length of 7.46 inches and an ultra lightweight 2.3 ounces. Really lightweight knife, and you can just see how big the TS255 really is. I'm going to also bring out the SIG K320. This one here has a 3.5 inch coated S30V blade with a 4.5 inch polymer handle. Overall length on the K320 is 8 inches and it's coming in at 4.16 ounces. So you can see the TS255 is bigger than both of these models. Let me go ahead and get the last two knives that I like to do, and these are my budget comparisons. Might be switching these up in the future. I haven't decided yet. First up is going to be the Civivi Elementum. This is going to be funny. This has a 2.96 inch D2 steel that's been acid etched by me, hollow grind, really slicey. It has the 4.03 inch handles that are micarta on my variant, 6.99 inches overall, and an ultra lightweight 2.89 ounces. I mean, this knife just makes the Elementum look like a fifth pocket carry. Good grief. All right, next up, the CJRB Feldspar. This one here has a 3.5 inch stone washed D2 blade. I really always have to show that off. They did such a good job with their stone washing. It has a 4.6 inch burlap micarta handle coming in at 8.1 inches with a lightweight 3.67 ounces on the scales. So you can see this is a big knife. This is definitely a full-size knife, and you can really see that in these comparisons. Let's do some profile comparisons, and then I'll give you my final thoughts and impressions. Really good action, but we're going to get into that here in a minute. There it is against the Elementum. No surprise, thicker. We're going to roll through this one, guys and girls. CJRV feldspar, thicker. This is gonna be funny. Bug out. Wow, like half the size. Like it's coming inside of a full scale. Oh, I'm cheating a little bit. I just caught that. Apologies. I was using the pivot, but it still comes inside. Oh my gosh. Here we go. Let's check it out. This should be the real test because the K320 contours out, which really gives it really good ergos. Let's see here. Oh, wow. The K320 is still thicker until you compare it on its smallest end. And then you'll see. You know, there is contouring here, so that could be deceiving a little bit. I don't really know how to show you, but you can see the contouring. So that could be deceiving a little bit. I know I'm being a little harsh on the thickness, but that contouring lends to the ergos, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. So let's see, even up. Okay, so there we go. More respectable, right? If we try to look at it, not at the thickest part, but here. But you know what? That's going to make a really good comparison for a knife that I always say the crossfade scales completely transformed the ergos on. So let's see here. These are identical. Even when you look at where they compare, okay, so a little bit thicker on the crossfades, but again, ergonomics on this knife are outstanding with these crossfade scales. Let me go ahead and get into my thoughts and impressions. So let me talk about the things that I really like. The carbon fiber on here is really well done. It has that really soft texturing that I liked on my vise, so it offers additional gripping. And I haven't found, so far, I haven't found any voids on here. So either the quality control or their manufacturing or their carbon fiber is really well done, or I just got really lucky and got a piece that I have not yet found any sort of void on the weave. So really well done. As you can see here, it does have additional texturing that's really well done. It's not aggressive or obnoxious. It really does help the grip. I like the titanium backspacer with the integrated lanyard hole. The way that this pivot works is this is a female end and this is the male end, and it goes straight through. So you have to take off the pocket clip first before you can take this side out. And the tolerances are very, very tight. And I only know that because I took it apart like I do all my knives when I get them, to clean them and oil them. I love the fact that they did put the carbon fiber inlay here on the pocket clip so it goes in and out of pocket smoothly. I like the titanium milled pocket clip. I'm not a big fan of the ball shape that they put onto the pocket clip because it just doesn't have as much of a contact surface, so it's very minimal. It does allow it to come in and out easy, but then I worry about will it fall out depending on if I'm bending over or doing activities and things like that. I know I've taken it apart and cleaned it, but the centering when I got it was dead on. It's still dead on. It does have on the frame lock the steel lock insert to prevent the titanium from rubbing directly against the blade. The pivot is really interesting looking. I like the fact that they changed up. They got these little notches in here, kind of giving to the aesthetics and the overall presence of the knife. And even on the back here, it kind of looks like a little bit of that Hinder style type lock. I mean, it's that style, but it's not the exact same thing, but it looks really interesting. And it is oversized, so it's pretty beefy. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the way that the flipper tabs on the TwoSuns are done. They're not my favorite. Now, from a profile presence, it's a little tall, but honestly, when it gets down in the pocket, and it's down in the pocket, I'm not carrying anything in this pocket anyway, so it really doesn't do anything. I just don't like how it kind of sticks out. Like, you have this really beautiful knife, really well done, nice curve lines to it, and then you got this little thumb stud that sticks out. I'm sorry, flipper tab that sticks out. Now, I kind of wish that they would have done kind of like a knife that I'm going to do for a comparison here in a moment, but we'll pull it out here real quick. Kind of wish they'd have just done this. I really think that would look really good on this, that low profile flipper tab. You can light switch it, but you got to get above where the jimping is on here to light switch it, and it light switches really well. The ceramic bearings that came with it are really good. I'm not worried about putting any Rocket Glide rings on here. They're really good. They're ceramic and have fantastic action. This does really well with the push button. It really, you can see it came flying out of there versus when I did the light switch. You do have to be a little careful with this lock bar. Long as you feel carbon fiber under your hands, and when with frame locks, I've already developed like this hand position to push them out, so it really doesn't get in the way. The lock bar has really nice tension to it. It's very, very easy to actuate. And even though it just has that little bit of lockdown and doesn't have any jimping there, you do kind of feel a little bit of that steel insert, like it does have a little bit of a hot spot. But because it's so long and you have so much leverage, it's really easy to actuate. I've never had like this, I call it the harpoon drop point, because it does drop at the point and it does have a little bit of the harpoon on there. I've never had that, but what I found is when I went to do a draw cut to open something, it really does help. It kind of keeps the finger from sliding forward when you do like the initial insert into it, and then when you're pulling across, it does help with the guidance. I really, really like that a lot. So I don't like the flipper tab that much. I don't like the ball. Everything else is really well done. The last thing that I'll talk about is while it is comfortable in hand and the ergos are fine, I found that this little hump here on the finger is a little awkward. It doesn't take away from the ergonomics. It's just kind of awkward for hand positioning. I feel like though when you go to like move it forward and you get your finger behind the shark head and you're using the jimping, it does really kind of like give you a lot of room to move this finger around, and you can come back on the knife. Now, I'm not going to use it for anything like that I'd be chopping with on that, and it's too far away for push cuts, but really, really nice. The other thing too, I would say you want to come over here over top of this jimping with the knuckle for your push cuts, and that's just to keep the blade path from coming into that finger choil when you're breaking down your boxes. It does cut, it slices really, really well. 14C28N takes a fantastic edge. So really good performance on the steel thus far. I haven't had to sharpen it just yet. You can see it's a little dirty from where I'm using it. Let me bring out some quick comparable knives. I just had it out here. The Gosia is another titanium. This one has the Bowler M390. Like I said, I don't think I have anything from a presence standpoint that's going to compare to this. They're either going to be a little smaller or they're going to be a lot larger. The Rick Hinderer Design ZT0562 is probably going to be really close, but still, the TS255 is a little bit longer, but what I talk about from a presence is like that girthiness in hand, and really like you get this in hand and you feel like this is definitely something that you could probably use like you would a fixed blade. Those are really the only those are the only two knives that I have with titanium handles that might be kind of comparable. I do have some other ones that I'll bring out here really quick to show you guys that I think kind of compare possibly. Let's bring out the Shaman. This will really show you guys how big this knife is. So you can see the TS255 still bigger, still more presence. Again, we had it out here a moment ago, but the K320 is another knife that I think of when I think about this. I think this is a really good looking, hard use knife. Like it really just strikes me in that regard. Let me bring out one more knife for you guys and then we'll wrap it up. The AD 20.5, right? Big American made knife. Yeah, that's how big that TS255 is, guys. Anyway, that's my review of this video. Comparable comparisons, profile comparisons, thoughts and impressions. I hope you guys really enjoyed this one. I hope I was able in this instance to bring you something that maybe you hadn't seen before, and hopefully you enjoyed it. I appreciate all the support. Again, thank you guys. I hope you have a fantastic week, and until next time, peace.